Chris Level here with another edition of Pirate Talk. My man Jaden Isler, girls basketball coach, with me and my guest today. Kind enough to join us. We're going to get this thing out to the public rather quickly because my man is coaching a district game this evening. Already 2-0 in district. There's already a lot that's gone on in your season. It's like you're hitting it fast and furious. Coach, how are you doing?
Doing great, man. But like you said, it's been fast and furious and 3 weeks into district already.
Yeah. And here we are in early December. Okay, let's catch up to this point. You guys have played about 12 games, I think. Is that right?
Yep.
A couple of tournaments. One in the Metroplex where you bite off a lot there, but that's what you wanted to kind of take your team to see.
Yeah, we kind of talked to the girls a little bit before the season about what we want to accomplish in that non-district schedule, and especially because it's so compacted this year with us starting district so early. So, we picked the Frisco tournament, the Mavs Fall Classic for a reason. You get a lot of the best teams in the state in multiple classes in that one, and so we ran into, at the time, number 1 in 5A, number 1 in 4A that's still undefeated. I think Dallas Lincoln's still undefeated at this point. Play the number 1 team in 5A New Mexico, come back, play number 2 in 4A Canyon. So, out of that non-district schedule, we got, tested really early and kind of see what our district fight was going to look like night in and night out. So, to be 6-6 and 2-0 in district right now, I think our non-districts did a good job preparing us for what we're going to see.
You lost a lot of scoring off of last year's team. That is well documented. So you've kind of changed, and if correct me here if I'm kind of mislabeling it or whatever, but I think that you lost some scoring at the guard spots from last year, and so you've kind of dove into the whole. We're gonna play defense. We're gonna press you. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna grind it out a little bit. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Year to year is different. You know that.
Sure.
It's your team dynamic changes, and we went through a lot, not just scoring wise, which we lost multiple college players that are playing at the next level right now and having success, but. Along with losing that scoring, we just lost a ton of experience. We also lost 2 juniors that would have been seniors this year that were prioritizing other sports and needed to. They're going to be really good at the next level as well. And so that took 2 more players that didn't graduate off that group. So really only returning 2 people that have played in a varsity game, and one of those is a sophomore this year. So that kind of changes your whole team dynamic. Philosophically, we're really the same, but just some different emphasis. This year, we've got to go from last year, we could really just play a game of if you wanted to get up and down and score points. Well, we've got the players to go pop you that way. This year's group's got to be a little grittier. We've got to change defensive looks more often through a game. We'll press you at times. We'll back it off into some zone at times, some soft zone, some pressure zone. But this group's picking up for a young group to be able to throw multiple looks at people and to play a game that way and kind of get gritty in the rebounding and loose ball area, which has been a big emphasis the last couple of weeks going into district. This group's doing a great job of just adjusting and adapting to kind of what fits us and what gives us the best chance to win each night.
You've got some seniors on your team, obviously, but relatively speaking, this is a young group. So that's the payoff, is that there's some of these players that you're going to get to kind of have for multiple years here, because you're playing freshmen, you're playing sophomores a lot.
Yeah, and we've got a good mix. Like you said, we've got 3 seniors on the team. 2 of them didn't get to play last year due to injury. So they've been kind of working their way back into some minutes, and they bring a perspective that's really cool for our team because
you're
they're
talking
there.
about Jordan
Tolliver and Diana Hicks.
Okay.
Yep. And then Taylor Bullen's the one returner that did play as a senior last year. But they bring a cool perspective because they got to sit next to the coaching staff and see the game from a different perspective all year last year. So, their maturity and them bringing kind of a different view from what they saw last year from the bench being hurt is good for our young kids to be around. Those mature players that know how to buy in and what their role is and gives us a chance to grow those young ones up, and then those girls are working their way into some minutes.
You've got you mentioned some underclassmen, but you got a sophomore named Chloe Young that's, I think, I don't know if the right word is dazzled, but she's been very impressive on some nights, able to score it, and she's trying to figure out what it's like at this level, and probably now showing up on other teams' scouting
Hmm.
reports and things like that. So having to learn how that goes. But
Yeah, and we've thrown a lot on Chloe. We played her a lot of minutes last year as a freshman at backup point guard and off the ball, just to kind of get her ready for when we graduated that group out. And she's doing a great job for us. Chloe can really light you up. She shoots it well. She's got a strong body that can get by you. She's crafty, passes well. So she's early in the season she had some big nights, and like you said, now you start popping up on scouting reports, and you get to be more of the focus for people defensively. Now she's adapting to how do you play in that role each night, when people are really looking at you.
your team's culture. Every team has a culture. Some are good, some are bad. Let's just call it what it is. But your team's culture, what is it, or what do you want it to be? Kind of take me through that dynamic.
Yeah, like you said, gets thrown out a lot. We just kind of have values we try to live by, and treat each other the right way every day while being elite competitors. And so I'd say for our culture, it's just a daily kind of battle of like we're gonna go in and really compete hard and learn how to be a competitor and take adversity. And then when practice is over, the game's over, we've got a really tight knit group. You've always got different dynamics in a locker room, but this is one of those teams that just genuinely likes each other on and off the floor, and that makes a huge difference. And that's something we think special about Lubbock Cooper High School.
Yeah, and that's you can't force that,
Hmm.
and every coach wishes they had they
Yeah,
had the
absolutely.
everybody like because there's some teams that just don't obviously have that. You are using this is fascinating. This is 2024, and so you're not alone here, but you're also using some analytics to kind of help you as a coach out and kind of show you some things that maybe you wouldn't have seen otherwise. What lineups are efficient? What works best together? Take me through that dynamic.
Yeah, so we're one of about 50 high schools across the country that are using full court analytics, and is developed by an analyst that works at the Division One level. This is specifically for high school coaches and teams, but it's been a game changer for us because especially with a young team that you haven't necessarily coached every player on your team before because they're new to varsity. It's given us a chance to really look at what different lineups are efficient defensively, how efficient are they offensively, which kids can we plug into different groups. You can change from a 3-person lineup to see what those 3 players look like, a 4-person, a 5-person. And then what's really helped us individually is we bring our kids in. We try to bring them in as often as we can, do some individuals and just look through their analytics of, you can break it down as much as like, hey, you're driving to the left side 90% of the time. Like, we've got to look at some opportunities to
That
go
shows
the other
up on
way.
the scouting report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's really helped our kids just dive into their own game a little bit and see the things that's really, hard to say, like, hey, go work on your game. Well,
What
I don't know
exactly?
what I'm working on. This gives us a really good idea of, hey, we're inefficient in this area. During practice over the course of the year, we're gonna hit these things for this kid, and we're gonna hit different areas for another kid. And I think it individually and as a team whole has just given us a leg up on the competition.
Yeah, and I'm obviously I'm an older guy, but I love that this is a thing now because I just think if you're not using it, you're missing things that could be helping you and things that you just wouldn't know or you think you have it figured out, and then the numbers, it's the numbers are the numbers,
Right.
and it's
And I'm the same way. Like as growing up as a player through basketball and then into the coaching side, you do a lot of things on feel and instinct, just from being in so many of those games. But sometimes this can go along with your feelings, and you're correct, and you have some backing to that. And sometimes, as coaches, we get things completely wrong, and we think, like, hey, these players are playing really well together, when in reality that's not maybe your best lineup, and it just helps you adapt and change to the game. And then specifically in game, if we need to play a certain lineup because we need to get stops in that moment. We've got multiple lineups that are better defensive lineups that we know we need to sub these exact kids in this moment, and it just helps you make those decisions a little more clearly throughout a game. And then, like everything else, you got to go with your gut and live with that.
you have to have some gut and instinct. That's
Yep.
part of being a coach. There's human elements that come to this too, but it certainly is an aid in helping you do it. Take me through When you get this new district that you guys are in dropped in your lap, and it's a 9-team district, it means it's a bloated district schedule and season, and it's going to start much earlier, as we talked about. We are in early December. You've already started district. A lot of times, a lot of schools aren't even starting it until after the calendar turns into the next year. Your thoughts were what? Because it's probably fun in some ways, and it's probably frustrating and cumbersome in others. But take me through all the dynamics that you thought of.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we looked at in the preseason was like, how do we grow up faster than a normal season? Because normally, like you said, you get 3 tournaments or however many tournaments you want to play. You get a lot of games through that. You can figure yourself out. You can let players have the time to mature and grow up through those situations before it's all on the line in a district season that you've got to get a top 4 spot in. So I kind of think our main emphasis was, how do we grow up faster? And that goes back to part of, like, we've got to play some of the best teams in the state early, because we can't have that fake success of you're getting wins and you're trying to get better through some wins and build some of that confidence. And it kind of goes to the maturity of our kids a little bit, because it's not easy to go first year on varsity, and then you start off with some of the biggest teams in the state that are
in the Metroplex. Yeah, that's right.
And you're going to take some lumps during that too. But I think our kids have responded the right way. I think we're playing our grittiest basketball of the season right now. We played Coronado last week, and that's a team that, I mean, they will not lay down. They're going to play you till the buzzer goes off. Doesn't matter the score. And we won the rebounding battle and the loose ball battle. And for us, a lot of success for us is going to come with, if we can keep the rebounding and we can win the loose balls. We feel like we've got a good shot in all the other areas to win those games. And in a district like this, that's playoff heavy teams. I think 6 of them were in the playoffs last year. Each night's going to come down to like one of those gritty, who can just figure out how to make winning plays in the end. And a lot of times that doesn't have anything to do with shooting it or your X's and O's offensively. A lot of times it comes down, like, can you steal possessions? Can you win those 50-50 balls and get to the line late and win a game?
And you mentioned that it's a 9-team district. They don't change the rules and say, okay, because you have so many more teams in the district, we're going to allow more teams to go in the playoffs.
Correct.
There's just 4.
Just 4.
Just 4. And you've got Monterey, which we know about them. You've got Amarillo High. We know about them. Tascosa, I think, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
There's your team. You mentioned Coronado plays night in and night out. And so it's just a grind. And okay, so with that, you can't, which I was talking to you about this before, you can't play in the Cap Rock tournament. And so you've had to play one less tournament, and you're going to get one more tournament, or one less tournament setting, I should say. So the holidays are going to look different, because you've got 3. You got tonight versus Plainview, but then you've got 2 or 3 more games before Christmas. You play Monterey on New Year's Eve, but you're just in it.
Yeah, there's really no break. And that's part of just being in this 9-team and having to get so many games through before the playoffs come around. But yeah, you just don't. You're not going to have a night off that you can say that, like, this game's not going to determine our playoff seeding, and every night's going to count. And that's good in a lot of ways, because if you can stay really locked in through that time, it's going to be hard for teams to stay that locked in over that amount of time throughout a season. But what better way to grow up if you're a young team to figure out how to do that in year one. So I think this group's going to get a great experience at, hey, every game you've got to be locked in. Like, we can't have an off night. We got to find a way to win the game each night, or you don't control your own destiny anymore.
Christmas right around the corner. Okay, and that's always the fun part about. I remembered being a high school player, but you were the same, is that when you hit around the holidays, like, class stops, kind of off. It's like you get to act like a pro, or a college athlete or whatever, when college lets out for like a full month, and you're just like, all you're worried about is like the fun stuff and hooping and practicing and all that kind of stuff. So with school letting out, like, do you grind them Do you back off of them whenever, because you're not playing in a tournament,
Right.
and so you've got all these empty days around the holidays, but you still have a game stretch at New Year's Eve. Have you already kind of mapped out your holiday practice schedule and everything like that?
Yeah, we set it long time ago actually. So hopefully all of our parents and everybody has seen it. But
and if not, then go to Sports U. It'll be on
right
there.
now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the good thing for us is like we talked about that culture piece of just having a really connected team, a team that wants to be around each other. This is a time of year that kind of every year we really try to focus on just who we are as a group. While you're prepping, you got some extra days to prep for some of those district games, and we do a lot of cool things. We've got great team moms, and they host team dinners for us. We do some things. We bring them breakfast to the court. We spend some extra time hanging around the gym. That's not just practice. But it's a great time for us just to really connect as a group, kind of stay focused on our mission ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, bonding. That's what the fun thing about the holiday tournaments usually are, is that it's just you and your team, and you're just getting to do your thing. Okay, so we have a 15-month-old at home, Ashton. What does Ashton want for Christmas? Like what are we asking for Santa?
The bad part for me is I'm trying to get a golf club in her hand. We're trying to find where's the easiest scholarship for college. Like I'm a planner. We're trying to do all that. But no, the funny thing is she got out like 100 baggies out of a bag last night. Like if I was smart, we would just find some things around the house to
Ziploc
let her
for
play.
Christmas.
Yeah,
here you go.
100 of them.
Right, yeah.
So. No, she's pretty easy. I've gotten lucky that she's a pretty happy kid, and she's good with whatever's going on.
Yeah, because you're juggling. I mean, 15 months old, and here you are coaching, and your sweet wife is doing yeoman's like work.
Yeah, and we've got a whole staff right now of Coach Miller had their daughter Mabry was born 13 days before our daughter. Brig Gerlich is our new freshman coach. He is due to have a baby Friday.
Okay.
So
his wife is.
Yes. Let me good correction there. But so we've got young kids on the staff, and about to have a new father for our freshman coach, and so it's a fun time of year for us.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw some. So anyway, Plainview tonight. What time?
That'll be 6 p.m. for
6
us.
p.m. Okay, yeah, and then obviously the schedule is on social media and Sports U and all those things. But I know you've got Caprock. I think next week.
That's
that right?
Friday.
That's Friday. Yeah, then Lubbock High and Tescosa maybe are the games after that, and then Monterey on December 31st. That's a home game.
That is home for us. Yes.
Yeah, home for us. Yes. So, anyway, coming fast and furious, and all those things. Best nickname on the team.
Best nickname, that would probably be Chloe. She goes by Bear a lot, but Coach Miller has named her Go with the Clo. So
I like it.
Miller is in charge of all the nicknames on the team, but she's
now is Bear, is that like aggressive, or is that just something that she was?
She grew up with that nickname. Somebody like midway through the year last year told me that she went by Bear a lot growing up. So she still gets that one some. Go with the Clo some.
Go with the Clo. Yeah. I like that. That's solid work there. Okay, best gift that you've ever received. Speaking of Christmas season and all that, because it's always better to give than to receive. And I'm going to ask you about giving in a second.
All right.
Best gift you've ever received.
Let's see.
Can you think of that?
I honestly probably. I think I grew up in small town Grady, New Mexico, on a ranch and farm. But the happiest I probably ever was my granddad and my dad bought me like a little 22 single shot like long rifle.
Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah. So it goes along with
like
Christmas, right? Yeah. So
right.
I was really excited to get that.
You made it
back in the day. I was there.
You're a made man. I got my own little pistola thing. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was probably the happiest I was on a Christmas.
Best gift you've ever given.
Best I've ever given.
Like that you were genuinely excited about.
Let's see. Trying to think of what I've got my sisters over the years, and my sisters are in charge. If my mom is watching this, my sisters are in charge of the family gift every year. So
and sometimes
I go along with paying in my part.
Yeah,
usually.
There you go. And sometimes these are like not some extravagant. This is like a sentimental. It's
Let's see.
And if you can't think of one, I'll circle back.
I may come back to it. I'm trying to think. It's probably either something that I've gotten sisters or my mother. But give me a second. I'll get to that one.
Coach Miller In one word, your lead assistant. In one word, describe her.
For her, I would say like in tune. Like she is the pulse of
Okay.
our team. She's like the culture piece is so good because she has such good relationships with our kids, and she has her finger on the pulse of our team all the time. But
That's
man, she is
good.
so in tune with what's going on with our kids.
So she's the opposite of tone deaf.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure,
like
for sure.
so she, holidays are all about food.
Yep.
Okay. The last thing you cooked.
Last thing, holiday cooked or just cooked in
Just
general?
cooked.
I do like to cook, so I
Okay.
cook some things. But man, probably my favorite is one of my aunts has a great pinwheel recipe for like cream cheese, green chili,
Oh
jalapenos
yeah,
in them.
like an appetizer type
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
so all the holidays, like usually if we're going to New Mexico to see them, then I let them do
Well,
it. But
anything in New Mexico is going to have green chilies.
it is, yeah,
involved.
you can't get away
That's
from it. But
right.
I do. That's holiday food. Like those pinwheels are where it's at for
Okay.
sure.
What's your favorite holiday dish?
Favorite holiday dish.
And it could be dessert or
I'm gonna go.
there's so many things that come with the holidays that, food wise.
I'm a big pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with whipped cream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
has
I'm
to.
whipped cream on
Yeah.
top. I
So
like
that's
that.
where I first learned the word what dollop meant. Yeah, like I'm like, what is
What's
this
a
word? Yeah,
dollop?
just load it on there. No, you want a dollop of whipped cream? I'm like, yeah, give me a spoon, and if that's what you want to call it. Okay. Favorite thing you've watched recently, like on Netflix or just whatever. I mean, you're a
Let's
sports
see.
guy
Well,
like me, but is there anything that you've?
yeah, non-sports related. Yellowstone is back.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right.
We've been on
Yes.
some Yellowstone. Landman by Taylor Sheridan just came out. Just started that one.
Which is
I mean,
kind of a
yeah,
similar
Taylor
show.
Sheridan's like, I mean, he's got
Printing
like
money is what he's doing.
5 or 6 of them
Yeah,
going right now.
that's right. That's right. And they're all kind of the same but different.
Yep,
Yeah, different
that's right.
storylines and all that stuff. Okay, so what's the biggest thing for your team before we let you out of here on like what do you think you need to get better at as you're progressing here early through the district season? You're trying to grow up quickly, but is there some like we just need to get a little sharper defensively with our press or in tune with each other? I don't know. You tell me.
Big two. We've been it's not hidden. Like our team knows. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks now, kind of as we have gotten into these district games. But when we are low turnover and when we are winning the loose ball category,
Live balls. Okay.
yeah, and in the girl, there's the big difference we've talked to our girls about between the only difference I've ever seen in the girls and the guys game, coach them both, is rebounding is just a little different. Like rebounding in the air doesn't happen as often in the girls game. In the guys game, everything's played up by the rim, and those rebounds are happening up there. On the girls game, like rebounding 90% of the time it's a 50-50 loose ball after the first touch. So we're big on like we are going to be the scrappers. We are going to be the first ones to the floor.
I want to hear that squeak of the floor
Yeah,
burn.
if we're gonna be really successful, it's cutting turnovers, being low turnover, and winning that rebound loose ball battle. That's the two big ones.
That's the grit,
Mhm.
and then the discipline of making the right play. Sometimes the simple one, not trying to hit the home run and all that. Just make the easy play, take care of the basketball, because you keep possessions alive.
Absolutely.
As opposed to creating runouts for
Yeah.
the other team going the other way when you're careless with the basketball. Hey man, good luck. You're crushing it. I know it's hard with you. You went and bit off a lot in the Metroplex. You loaded up in the non-district. Your district is loaded, and you guys are 2-0, and we'll look to keep that going. So go out and check out Coach Isler's team, fun group, and they're grinding them out and trying to play defense and pressing and all the things, but putting his players in positions to succeed is what I would say. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah, trying to. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. And if not, blame it on analytics, right? Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
blame the numbers.
All right, Merry Christmas, Coach.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
it. Yep,
you.
that's been another edition of Pirate Talk for Colton Coons behind the camera. This is Chris Level for head coach Jaden Isler. We'll talk to you next time.